Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations with Delpha and Naomi. I'm Delpha,
I'm Naomi.
and we are back.
We're
So,
back.
we're back. We're going to do a couple of announcements first. First of all, guess what, people? It's the holiday season, and if you watch any of our clips, you will see my Christmas tree up. I am that person. I have it actually up early on
Yay.
purpose. Yay, because I like Christmas spirit.
So pretty.
Uh, Thank you. And to that end, because it's the holiday season, Naomi and I are going to take a little break. So this will be our last podcast until January 15-ish or
Yeah,
so.
sounds good.
Yeah, so that we can take a break and catch up on things. And she can run her business. I can run my business. We can run each other's businesses and do all the things, all the things that we do anyway.
Laundry.
Laundry, yes. Oh my gosh. That's
Lot of
not. I
laundry.
just came back from a trip, and as usual, it's Saturday morning. I have my coffee, you have your coffee. But the laundry is happening today. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. So um Naomi and I haven't had a chance to really talk because
I know.
Naomi was hosting this fabulous retreat. So I'm going to give you the floor, Naomi, so you can tell us about the retreat. And then, like, I think we're just going to follow each other's lead on this conversation.
I know. Follow the thread. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I have last weekend, at this time, I was hosting my retreat, Return to Self retreat. And it's the second time that I've done it. It's a weekend retreat for women, working on the most important relationship that we have, our relationship with ourselves in conjunction with relationship with other. I think that's the most important. That was one of the most important pieces. And I won't go on and on and on, but okay, I'll say it was incredible. It was amazing. The energy in the room immediately, people, the right people come and find the right things that are, meant for them. And the people who came to retreat, I can't say enough about them. They're just like fantastic. But the one thing that I don't know. There are a couple things. Don't let me go on and on and on. But I've been
Okay.
talking to people after retreat. It's really important for me to offer a post-retreat conversation just to find out, like, how are you? Like, what is it that may have opened for you or changed since retreat? And I've had a couple of those conversations. And what I'm hearing from the women that were there is that it was a time that they felt completely taken care of. And that was definitely our intention, my intention. There was a space held for openness and sharing and vulnerability and healing, and that people really got back in touch with themselves because we were all in the room together, right? It's not something that's so easy to do by yourself. Yes, of course
Do
we
you know
have to
what?
spend time by
That,
ourselves, but it
that's
was the
that's like,
energy in the room, like just we
yeah,
were all like held. And I am so grateful to everyone. I am so pumped. Can you tell? Like I'm so
I
pumped.
can
And
tell.
I think that there's going to be another return to self retreat offered end of April.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm so
you know what?
excited.
I love it because you and I have talked about this before. That retreat creates safe space
Yeah, yeah.
so that it's not isolated, but you are on the shore, and
Oh, There's, yeah,
it's
remind me.
just a couple of people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not intrusive at all. It's whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
so glad it went well. I love the effect of that retreat, and I love hearing that people react to it. I mean, in their
That's
own
so
unique
great.
way, right? So, but it's so
Yes.
positive. It's positive for them because it's their life,
Mm-hmm.
it's their experience, it was their moment, and that people took time to invest in themselves. That's such
Yeah.
a huge thing right now. Like, I know it's the
Yeah.
holidays, or the holidays are coming, and we tend to do for others during this time, and then we're exhausted.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys are also taking the time to do something for yourself so that you have time to recharge, reconnect.
Definitely.
Yes, and protect
Definitely.
your energy. Absolutely.
And
So,
I wanted to say, well, one other thing, and now two other things. You make me think of all these cool things. So, one of the participants said to me, which I thought was so powerful. So, the retreat is held, and the next one too, that's in Connecticut anyway, will be held at the same
Yeah.
place. It's a beautiful, like 125-year-old beach house. So it's a home. It's not a retreat center. It is a home, and we are together in this home. And she said to me something like, the house and the shore and the water and the sand and the sitting across the street, we're all like a member of the retreat. And it kind of floored me. And I thought, because we spent time outside, we had a circle outside. I
Yeah.
love the house. I love the energy of the house. I did the minute I walked in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, you are totally correct. The home and the sand and the ocean and the shore were actually like a member of the retreat. We were embraced by this beautiful place. And that made a difference, I mean, that really
Yeah.
made a difference. So when she shared that, I was really kind of like, wow, uh-huh, you're right. You're
She
right.
is
Picking
right.
that certain place. So when we do take care of ourselves, picking the place that is going to support us, and it could be a little place in our home and, like hanging with my dog on the couch, but the area, the land itself there is very special. And I don't remember the other thing I was going to say. So let's move on.
I love it because we're giving it.
Oops.
No worries. Okay, so let me tell you about my week. I had a good week. I was traveling for work, and I had a ton of meetings, and it was all cool. But here's the thing, and this is what I really want to talk about. So I'm totally being
I'm listening.
opportunistic because, like, we did not
Listening.
plan this, but it is conversations with Delpha and Naomi, and this is what we do. So awesome meetings. Got to see a lot of people that I care about, that I build relationships with really quickly. And some really intensely. Like they have people that have really touched my heart and that I get along with, and that it just makes sense that, we're together and that we work together. It's really nice. I know that's not what's happening for everybody, and I can tell you all kinds of stories about the flip side of
Wow.
that. But right now in my life, this works really well. Um, and it got to thinking about the effect other people have on you and your state of mind and your state of comfort and the effect you have on yourself. And I'll say it this way. Just based on past experience, I could have been Delpha scared rabbit, which if you know me, you probably don't believe it. But yeah, Delpha has scared rabbit inside. And I just don't show it very often. I tend to just cocoon away from the world when that's happening. But I could have been Delpha scared rabbit. Oh my gosh, this is big meetings, it's in front of big bosses. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna look? How am I gonna be perceived? All that stuff. And instead of letting that take hold of me, I decided I'm just gonna be me. And I actually made that decision on the plane in because my mind was already racing with all the insecurities and all the, oh my gosh, this is going to be your first big one. And I said, you know what? No, not today. And usually in my head, if you know me, I say, not today, Sadie. We're not doing this today. But I want to talk to you about how impactful the effect of other people have on you. Because I know that when I got there, immediately one of my coworkers, who is a friend, said, are you in? Let's get together. And we got together. And then the next day, it was just connection after connection after connection, which created ease for me.
Yeah.
In this trip. And I correlated to your retreat. Even more so, I think, in your retreat, because some of these people don't know each other. And yet they had an effect on each other. How the heck does that even happen?
Oh, yeah. Well,
we
all know.
Question. Go ahead.
I mean, we all know that this is a real thing, right? So example that I always heard or used is you walk into, when people are like, I don't know about this energy of people with each other. And it's like, okay, have you ever walked into a party and walked up around and just felt like I totally want to like attract, like you're attracted like a magnet to somebody and you want to talk to them? Or the opposite, like, ooh, I do not want to get pulled into that little trio of conversation. Something just doesn't feel right, right? So we have that energy. We definitely have that energy. And I am not a neuroscientist, but like I've also read, we all know those reports. Well, maybe we don't all know, but like our neurons. Let me think if I could say this the right way, but like we have these mirror neurons, right? So if somebody is acting angry, like our neuron, our brain like hooks into that, and the impulse without thinking is to be angry back, right? So we have these mirror neurons. But if I know, right? So you walked in and you got those great vibes, and we have to be aware of that going on, because if I see something negative, like something happened at your meeting, like that automatic sort of neurological, like, back, or, we have that feeling. So this is happening in our brain, and just knowing that it's happening makes all the difference, right? Like, so I can take myself and give myself 5 seconds or 30 seconds and say, okay, that's the energy, but how do I want to be?
Like, do I want to participate? Yes or no? And that's the effect of root has on you. I love that.
Yeah. And the other powerful thing is, and we've all done this, we've diffused situations, right? In family and work, friends, college, 10 years old at school, right? Like when we bring the energy to diffuse, we bring the positive energy, it happens, right? I mean, not all the time, but
Sure.
and not like 0 to 100, but there is that diffusion that happens in the energy. Like if I take a breath and you do the same thing, it affects the other people, and then they have the choice, if you're conscious and present, to deal with that, right? But it's like all this stuff is going on. It's like the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes, like the guy behind the scenes, like all that stuff is happening behind the scenes. And before I kind of knew about it, I mean, I was a reactor. Okay, let's just say I was a reactor, and now I'm a responder. So tell me more about this meeting. And was it a reactor, responder?
Whatever. You tell me about reactors and responders. That's the first time I hear that. What? Okay, so wait a minute. So what you're saying, I want to make sure that I'm interpreting this correctly, because I think this is kind of cool. So reactor is based upon you're just pushing back based on whatever you're receiving from the other person.
Yeah. I'm mirroring the energy.
Versus responder is conscious.
Yeah.
Stop it.
We got to get a neuroscientist on here too.
We do. That is so cool. So yeah, so really so for me, like, I've become a responder over time. And as I've gotten older, I'm much more of a responder than a reactor. Now, I will say that some people would say that I react a lot. And I would argue, and everybody can have their opinion about me. I'm not worried about that. I think we all have opinions about each other, and we all have our internal opinions, and all of those are valid.
Of course.
But my opinion of myself is that I'm not actually, I no longer react, because I know how I am when I react, and that's not pretty.
Me too.
But when I respond, my response is a lot faster, because now it's a lot faster than it used to be. So I used to take the pause, and now it's like a millisecond pause, and I just go to, do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Do I need to shift?
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's consistently my 3 choices. Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Do I need to shift? If I need to shift, I will either shift the conversation, shift my body, like consciously shift my body. So I will turn a little bit away, and that motion alone kind of resets me to look at the situation a little bit differently. Just
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why there's that body mind connection for me, but like I literally will scoot over a little bit or will I don't do the cross leg so much as I will do like a full body shift, a slight away or a slight towards the person. Um and all of a sudden my energy's different on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah. Yeah.
happens very quickly for me.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's, the body knows, right? The body always knows
Yeah.
first. And I have ignored that message for many times, many, 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 many times. But the body knows. So you're tuning into that. You're getting out of your head and the stories and the everything. And it doesn't mean like, look, if somebody's being a jerk and I feel like attacked or whatever, um, I don't want to react and go like, well, you're a jerk, right? But I want to respond for myself. And so I'm gonna try to do it from my
Listen, that's what instant messaging is
yeah.
for in the meetings out there. People out there, don't tell me I'm wrong, but that is what instant message is for.
I
If
know,
you're
I
in a
know.
meeting and somebody's being a jerk, the first thing that happens is the fingers are moving on a keyboard or on
Yeah.
the phone.
Yeah.
And I think that's legit. And I think that's awesome because you're at least, I'm going to say it this way, the act of doing that, you're getting it out of your system versus sitting, letting
Yeah.
it sit there and stew.
Yeah.
Be like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, are we serious? Are we? I don't
Yeah.
do that. I'm totally guilty of that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, look, we're all human
Yeah.
and also we want to be in community. Like, of course, I
Yes.
want to have a friend there, like to make an eyeball, like look over
Oh
and
my
say,
gosh. So yes, and that was, I will say that that was one of the best things about this week, that there was so much unity and
yeah,
camaraderie, and we're not all the same people. And you know what? We just had the election. I have no idea where people are at with that. I couldn't care
hmm
less.
hmm
But everybody connected as humans,
wow,
and it was that was a wonderful thing to see. And I hope that, and I'm going to say it this way, I consider it my reward for putting up with a lot of crap in the past.
yep,
I'm just
yep,
gonna say it that way. I put up with a lot of crap that I didn't have to put up with, that
hmm
I perceive that I had to put up with. And it had a really bad effect on me. We talked about, in a couple of episodes ago, we talked about how some of that had physical effects on me and it made me ill. Um,
yeah,
and as soon as I got out of that environment, I was no longer sick.
yeah, yeah,
So like to me, this turn of events is a bit of a reward. And that's just my perception, right? I don't know how that works, but that's my perception, that
hmm
this is a reward because I put up with a lot of crap and I'm
hmm
going to take it. I'm going to take it. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Um, it was fun. We had a good time.
yeah. Well, how great is that? I mean, yeah. Before we recorded we had talked about how we show up, how others show up,
Yeah.
the effect other people have on us because they're going to have an effect. I mean, we are not
Yeah.
alone. Like our energy intermingles. However it is you want to like understand it for yourself, right? I know you like we know, um there are people that we are like I can talk about like they're just people's energy that I am super attracted to, just in a
Yeah.
way of like being magnetized, like, ooh, this
Yeah.
feels like warm and fuzzy and comfortable. Like the people that are really looking at you and listening
Mhm.
to. And it sounds like I don't know. I think that it is getting stronger all of a sudden in a way. I mean, I felt like almost like a quantum shift this morning. Actually, I was
Girl, get the woo woo
sitting.
out. Get the woo
I
woo
know, I
out.
know. I really
Love
did.
it.
I
Say
mean,
it.
you mentioned obviously there was an election, and you're right. Like, that didn't come to retreat, and everybody's energy was there, but we honored, if somebody needed to share how they were feeling, we could honor it. but in this beautiful, loving way. And this morning I was thinking about it and just thought, I know there are a lot of feelings out there. I have feelings, you have feelings. But I felt this sort of literally like shift in I don't even know what it is, like willingness to connect,
Yeah.
a positive feeling. And it kind of got me like all excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this feeling? So
You know
like
what?
the
I'm
effect of
gonna keep.
others, right? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say
I don't know.
I have a perception of that. And an opinion, and those two are not the same thing.
I love your opinions. What is it?
I'm glad you did. Um,
I love
so
hearing it.
I to me, part of it is this. Um, we have been, if I mean, if you live in America, you got social media, you got the TV, you got the
Mm-hmm.
radio, you got podcasts, you got all kinds of stuff happening. You're getting an influx of stimuli all the time. You have the
All the time.
billboards, you have all the signs, you have all the things. And
Mm.
in my opinion, all of those things are meant to elicit high level of emotions from you.
Yeah.
There has That's gone. That's now gone because the election is done. And now you
Mm-hmm.
can actually choose to watch TV or not to watch TV because it's not going to be in your face anymore. It's only going to be in your face if you choose it.
Mm-hmm.
So choose wisely. And I'll give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. My husband likes to yell at the TV and has been yelling at the TV for the last 6 months because he's passionate about all things political. And this morning, I we didn't turn on the TV for politics or for news or for anything. We
Okay.
had like fun music, just chilling, not complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy was different. The energy in the house is different. That's it. So I think
Like,
that if you think about like what is helping us alleviate and kind of come back to center, like the retreat, get back to yourself. Um, yes, this thing, whatever this is me. It's over. The build up is done. Elections
mm-hmm.
done. The effect of both the positive and the negative that were heightened is done, and now we're at the calm of, whew, I'm not getting bombarded with all this baloney. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. It's no, I get that. And we all have our own needs. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people who are very high need for information, and you know how much information is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have said to me, and this has been many years, like that it would make them anxious to not take in the information they're taking in.
Yeah.
But they know there's a tipping point. And for me, I have a much lower need, and taking in too much, I start to tip fast.
Ooh.
And I have to respect, I don't have to, I want to respect that they're on a totally different scale than I am, and hope that
Yeah.
they respect that I'm on a lower need scale. But the anxiety and the nervousness shows up very differently for both of us. Like, somebody who subscribes to 17 newsletters, my opinion in the past, okay, my opinion was like, my gosh, you are totally overdoing this. Why are you making yourself so, like crazy to get all this
Yeah.
information? And I sort of had to learn like where is the correct center point. But and it doesn't mean stick my head in the sand either, or all of us, but I, like you said, the effect other people have on us. I tried to take a minute, like you said. I want to get back to that whole like you shift your body thing too.
Yeah.
And not get all judgy, like, oh my gosh, like how much are you taking in? Because for me, I have a low need. And I also want to be around people who take in more information than me because I need that. right? So I
Well,
also
it's
surround
trust, right?
myself, right?
Yeah, it's trust because those people are taking more information than you and you trust them.
I
And if
do.
you have a question, you ask whoever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do that too. I do a lot of a lot of trust. Like I have friends that will say, "Oh, I research a lot," and I'm like, research is biased too. It is where you look,
Mhm.
how you look, that is going to
Mm.
inform you. I know that's loaded, but it is where you look and how you look that's going to inform you. And so,
Yeah.
not that I'm saying research is bad, but don't assume that research is unbiased because
Right.
people don't say, "Well, I
Right.
did my research," and I'm like, "That's fantastic." Um,
Yeah.
it's also centered on where you look and how you look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to take a little tiny tangent here, but
yeah,
I don't like doing research on things like I'm going to talk about like buying a new appliance. So I just don't enjoy it. It's not my
no,
superpower. But I have so my friends know, if you're listening, a couple of you in particular, they know like I'm going to be like, you bought a new dishwasher. I know you read 27 consumer reports. Just tell me what you found out. And then
which
I
one is
will
the best
do
one? Yes,
yeah, and sometimes I just go on that, and sometimes I do a little bit of checking after. But yeah, it's funny because they're like, you're just gonna take my word for it, and I'm like, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And there are other things that they might check with me on, but yeah.
So I will.
Anyway,
So for me, like there's a duality. There really is. And I'm sure there's people out there
always.
like this. At work, I have to do a lot of research. I have to be highly
Hmm.
informed. I have to stay in line with the industry. I have to be
Mm.
able to predict and look at emerging issues and potential future emerging issues and things like that. And even you can see here, my tone of voice changed, my language changed, all of that changed because that's Delpha work mode. I'm a
Hmm.
freaking spaz on my regular life. Ask my husband. We should have him on here so he can tell you all the truth about this.
Okay,
I'm
get
a
him.
spe- yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, he's out. He's probably out enjoying his life right now, probably playing golf. He's fine. Um, but I um, I don't. I give myself grace and decide. I've decided a long time ago that I'm not going to use my full mental capacity 24/7 in my life. I literally, I don't.
Uh-huh.
So my husband, if he hears this,
He will, right?
he probably will.
Better.
Do not use this against me later. But he's usually the smartest man in the room, and I just let him do that. I don't have the mental capacity for it because I have
Hmm.
spent all of my little cells in my head at work and doing things that
Hmm.
I am not making the dinner decision. I am not, if I'm gonna cook, I enjoy it, so I'll do it. But like, I'd rather not make the small decision because I'm literally making big decisions all day, every day.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so if you see me out in the wild, I look like a spaz. I am a spaz. If you see me at work, I look extremely put together,
Mhm. Yep.
organized, knowledgeable, whatever. And that's just the duality of me. But
Oh,
that's an effect. You know what? That's the effect my husband has on me
uh,
because I can trust him and I can trust that he's not gonna screw me over and that he's gonna do all the right things for me. And I don't really have to worry about it.
that's
That's nice.
so lovely. I love that. I
Yeah.
mean, we want to be with people who I know I can be myself and relaxed,
Yeah.
and I can bring whatever self there is. Yeah, I love that. Well, it makes me go back to what we were like our topic of conversation, the effect other people have on us. And it it'll be interesting because if we put that as our topic, right? The effect
Yeah.
other people have on us. The immediate feeling that I have is we're going to be talking about negativity, right? But
But
what
it's
if you
not that.
turn it around? Like the whole, I think this conversation is going in that direction. It's the way you say it, right? The effect other people have on us, or the effect other people have on us. That's where we've been focused, right? Like the positive effect. And wow, if I focused on the effect that I am getting, like focusing on that positive effect, even if it's somebody angry in the room, the effect that that can have on me to make the choices that I want to make and be my core self. I don't know, maybe that was the quantum shift this morning. Like,
Yeah,
um, I can I can choose. Doesn't mean I don't get pissed off about stuff. I mean, people
sure.
know me, right? But
Yeah,
right. So the takeaway is kind of that. And going back, like the body always, I've been
yeah,
doing a lot of reading, like I've been really trying to do a lot of reading and sort of study around self-worth, but also being in touch with the body. And this is not a strong point for me, like letting the body always knows. And so to the fact that you like sort of turn and tune into your body and you let like because that's those are the first like receptors, right? Of course.
yeah.
That's pretty cool that you were doing that. And now you're doing it and you can share with us and kind of give us a little advice and teaching, when you kind of do that shift and take that moment. It's not just mental, it's not just in
Yeah,
your brain, right?
no, it's not. And it's I think what matters, and so maybe I'll equate it this way. And this, you should self-observe. Let's start there.
Okay.
Self-observe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
See when you lean in and
I'm gonna lean in now.
oh yeah, we're leaning. It's you and me, right? So we lean in, and we can. And then people are like, "You're so close to the camera." I'm like, "Yes, because I'm leaning in, paying attention to what Naomi's telling me." Um,
Yeah.
but it's you lean in, and I'm a touch person. So if I trust and like you, I want the huggies, I want the touchies, and I'm all that person. I'm that person. Um, if I like you, but I'm not sure I trust you, there is no touchy. There's none of that. There is communication, there is acknowledgement, there's the facial expressions, all of that. But and especially when it's a situation where um if it's like a negative situation where we're like, let's say we're having an argument,
Mm-hmm.
I will actually, and I've caught myself doing it, and then I've done it on purpose. I will not. If you're still, you're just in receiving mode, and that's how I feel about it.
Mm.
So I literally, and I this is woo woo. So I guess this is a woo woo episode. But like
It sure is.
I literally consider it like you're just sending me all your energy, and it's directional. So it's not everywhere, right? It's directional.
Yeah.
If I shift a little, I'm not taking it all in. And I truly believe that.
Oh.
I truly believe that
Uh-huh.
because it has worked for me. And if you haven't tried it out there and you find yourself in a moment where it's like not the best moment, just do a little just do a little shift, little
Mm-hmm.
sidestep to the corner
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. All of a sudden you kind of feel like the breeze. That's what I call it. I call it the breeze. It just feels a little cooler. All
Mm.
the energy being projected towards me gives me space to think, to respond versus react, because that also like it's effortful to respond versus
Mm-hmm.
react. Um,
I
and even
love that.
yeah, even on the phone, like I will, like if I have my phone and I'm talking to somebody on speaker, I will push the phone away and put my arm out as they're having their fit. I could still hear them, so I'm not being rude
Yeah.
and not listening. But all of that, whatever's coming out of them is not really directed physically at me. And it puts
Mm-hmm.
me in a space of, okay, what is going on? What am I hearing? Why are they
Mm-hmm.
where they're at?
Yeah.
Do I need to apologize if I did something? Like, where am I? And then I come back.
Wow. I
So
love,
that's
I really, yeah. The visual, like when you're explaining all of that, of like shifting out of that,
the
that
stream.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really appreciate that. And I have a feeling that many people do it unconsciously, but being conscious, Like that's very cool. That's very cool. I mean, we see kids do that, right? You know,
Yeah.
all my years of teaching, when they have to turn their back or walk away or not look at you, they do it automatically. And years of working with, you know, young children, um, I knew like they were self-regulating, right? They're
Yeah.
self-regulating. And so it's that same thing. And we forget as adults, I think, I don't know, people let me know, but you know, we forget that we can do that. We can
Yeah.
self-regulate and just take
Well,
that moment.
well, we can, and I don't know that we forget so much that social norms have taught us that it is rude to
Ah,
self-regulate,
you're
that
right.
it is
Yeah.
disrespectful if you shift or whatever. Like, no, it's not, and it's not selfish to put yourself first in situations where you do need to self-regulate. So,
Yeah, if you don't put yourself first, you're not bringing your best self.
yeah,
And I don't want to bring my worst self or my mediocre self, even though that
yeah,
happens. But you're right. You're right. But how many times in a conversation, I know as a coach, this is different, but like there are moments when it's okay. And I'll say, give me a minute, you
yes,
know, because I just want to take in. Because if my thoughts start, like personal thoughts start coming in because of something that somebody said, I just go off in my head. I need a minute because it's not about me at all. So I will say, and I let people know ahead of time. There will be times when I might say, give me a second with this. And then I explain I'm doing this because maybe I'm distracted or my dog is crying, which she's doing right now, or this or that. And I want to get centered in, but I always, you know, whatever, you can't see me, most of you, but you know, I do some kind of body thing or I look away for a second. So I explain that ahead of time because that's a coaching session. But you're right, social norms, but it's fine, you know, like right? We all do those things like,
yeah.
where we turn our head or we look up or we look away. And I love that you brought this like front and center. This is a
Well,
really
and
great
and
way.
and this is total woo woo. It's not woo woo. It's yoga, so it's
Woo-hoo.
not woo woo. It's fine. Um,
Yoga.
I mean, either way, woo woo's fine. So please, people don't send notes telling me that I think woo woo is crazy because I'm probably the most woo woo person. Um,
Mhm.
but there's yoga nidras, which is hand positions that you can do. And actually, when I coach people about self-regulating, I teach them different hand postures that they can do
Mm.
in a meeting, for example. So you can put your hand on your lap and do the hand posture. And if you think of your
Ah.
body as an electric being, yeah, exactly. So you can't see her. We're all like moving our wiggling our fingers here. Um, but if you think of yourself as an electric being, the way that you reconnect, like touching your feet together, touching your hands together, the fingers that touch together, all of those things are different electric circuits. And so if you look up yoga nidras,
Mhm.
there's some that are for energy, some that are for peace, some that are for calm, some that are for sleep. It makes a difference. And so there's one that's the let go. And that's the first one if I'm teaching somebody something. As my own yoga teacher taught me, um, do the let go
Mhm.
one first. And I will
Mhm.
legit sit in meetings and you can't see my hands. My hands are on like the let go because like you're probably driving me crazy. And I'm like, oh no, Delphi, gotta let this go. It's not about that person. This is all you right now. They are driving you crazy, yes, but they need the space to be able to say what they want to say. That physical movement straight into the let go, yoga nidra on my hands
Mhm.
is a shift. And so I'm not even having to shift left or right. I'm just shifting my hand position.
Mm.
And all of a sudden it's like, whoop, calmness.
Oof.
Because I'm
Yeah.
being intentional. I know in the back of my head, I'm gonna go to let go. And therefore
Yeah.
I am going to let go. Done.
Wow. I love that. You're giving the person the space to do what they need to do. And you don't have to stay in that space, but you don't have to, again, the effect that people have on us can be so profoundly positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that is going to be mirrored back. Let go of my judgment around this.
Yeah.
Wow. We sound very like, I don't know today.
We're extra woo today, people. It's
We're
the
extra woo.
holiday.
I know.
All right.
I know. Well, Thanksgiving is coming. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to need to spend time figuring out what side dishes I'm going to make for my family. But besides that, I'm going to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the effect. So with that, we're gonna
Yeah.
close out this podcast.
Oh,
And for if you didn't catch us at the beginning or you didn't catch the announcement, we're gonna take a little break for the holidays. We'll be back
yep.
on or about January 15th.
Yep.
In the meantime, hit like, hit subscribe, and share this podcast with somebody that may find value in it. We're excited that you guys are loving it as much as we are. I will tell you this little story real quick, which I thought was adorable. During my trip, I met two ladies that I had never met before. And they followed the podcast. And it was like, they were like, we're starstruck. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm the fan. I can't even believe you're listening to us. So thank you so much.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
Please don't be starstruck. We're normal people. Just come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally normal.
We are totally normal. Maybe this conversation might change some minds a little bit. But yeah, no, we're just normal, regular people. So just come up and talk to us and share the podcast. We really appreciate you all. And with that, we hope everybody has a good holiday. Everybody has a brand new, awesome new year. And we'll see you in 2020. What? Where are we going? 2025?
2025.
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
That's nuts. All right, guys. See you later.
All right. Bye. Bye.